location has been added. Prison.
I do think that's kind of fucked up, to be honest, about how they Oh god, look at all the places she's like, we haven't been here in a while. So literally only Sholmes' suite and the prosecutor's office are places we need to investigate. So we got justice office, prison, experimentation stage, and I'm gonna go. Actually, this was a bad idea. I don't remember Two Spell's voice. It was very distinct, though. I remember that at least.
Oh my! No wonder it's called the House of Horrors.
The House of Horrors?
I'd like to turn on my heels and go straight home. Via the comforts.
With which?
Holmes, shut up.
The problem is it's one of those segments, so that's a good one.
Sounds like a breathy Holmes.
No, it's breathy, but with an accent. I don't know what its accent is specifically, but it's okay. I got it.
Yeah.
Via the confectionery? Being scared makes you crave sweets? I can understand that.
I was looking forward to the reunion after 6 months away, but there's no sign of Mr. Sholmes anywhere.
That's strange. He should be here investigating the abduction of the waxwork. Oh well, I suppose we'll just have to come back again later.
Checking is actually here.
Yeah.
This is one posture reveals his weakness.
Sorry?
The killer's stand leaves him wide open to attack. I'm quite sure I could see him all.
From the ground?
With a Susato takedown, and then a Susato squash, and then finally a Susato smash.
Sorry, can I get a demonstration of the Susato smash, please? Right, and it...
She really just smashes you into a wall.
Ah! I had to try.
I was hoping a gentler smash. And if that doesn't render the culprit unconscious, a Susato slam should finish him.
A Susato slam?
Oh, I'm sorry, it's rather hard to explain.
I just have to show you.
Leave yourself open slightly, and I'll demonstrate.
No, thank you. Ah, a ladder. Oh no.
There's a step ladder there.
Not this shit again. Oh, yes, a step ladder.
I think perhaps we should let the
Proprietress?
proprietress know that someone left it out. The step ladder,
I mean, now that I look at it, it kind of looks more like a ladder.
Is something wrong?
Why do I feel as though I just managed to sidestep an argument? I don't know why. It's such a weird running gag, but every Ace Attorney game has a conversation on whether or not a ladder is a ladder or a step ladder, and I'm just like, is this funny? It's just a running gag, and I feel like it's more for just to have it in the games, and
It's funny that they skipped over it.
it subverts the joke at least. Joke in heavy quotation marks. That old policeman isn't here now, obviously. Still can't believe he just happened to be on the jury, though. Oh yeah! That was that guy! I can't believe I forgot that. He's not even on here, is he?
Probably not. I understand that London has a population of 6 million people, and yet...
I'm glad that they're doing something with the jury, like the people that show up during the initial investigation can be on the jury instead of being like witnesses. Like, that's kind of a creative use for the jury, if anything, but I don't know.
You do seem to run into the same people disproportionately often, don't you?
There's only so much space in the memory for different models, I guess.
What's behind curtain number 1?
No. Save the best for last.
Oh, what a horrifying scene. A murderer caught in a grisly act.
No, and in case you were wondering, it's the one with the big knife that's supposed to be the key.
I don't think anyone would be in any doubt about that, surely.
Did you know that according to the description, the bathtub at the back has no particular significance?
What? Really? I would have thought it was meant to show that the killer also worked in the bathhouse peddling crimes wares.
Criminals, yeah. Aha, we have a new theory. About this criminal that doesn't matter to this case. Damn it, I keep getting distracted. Nah, well, just rip the band-aid off. Ah yes, the heavy curtains in the middle of the House of Horrors. Whatever's on the other side of them, you just know it's going to be terrifying, don't you?
The sign says, Madam Trustman's special exhibit. Seems you have to pay extra to go inside.
I know! Can you believe that? Pay more money, as if we haven't been scared enough already.
It's not my doing, Mr. Naruto. Don't yell at me.
You haven't seen anything yet. The gimmick of Apollo Justice's main gimmick is that he yells to make himself feel more confident, so I'm gonna have to ready myself for that. Well, hold on. There's nothing here.
We have nothing else.
This is... Oh, boy. You know what this means, though.
We're probably gonna come back to it.
Yeah. That is weird, though, because they were like, yeah, we should go here. And
Is
then
there any other... Is there evidence?
No. You'd only present evidence if there's a person here, but there's nobody here. I think maybe we're trying to find shows, if anything. I don't know. We know at least that the professor will be here, so I'm gonna try to... It was like, huh? Huh.
Yeah, he's crazy.
What?
What?
What's he doing?
He's... Oh my. The whole wall of cells covered in mathematical equations.
Who gave him chalk?
And he's still writing
He's still writing more now. It's me. Professor, sorry to interrupt. Don't look at him! I feel naked before I'm finished. Oh, Mr. Naruto, and who is this dashing young lady?
I'm 16.
Never mind. I gotta find the clip now.
Because she's 16, right?
I actually don't think so. Oh,
Yep,
no, she is. She is.
It's a pleasure to meet you, Professor.
This is probably one of my favorite jokes in Adventure Time.
Attention, everyone. Is baby okay? Yes, but there were some complications. No! Yes, I'm afraid there wasn't enough gum to work with, so it appears Princess Bubblegum is now younger. She's 13 years old now. Oh, dang it! Well, I'm out of here. Goodbye, everyone.
Such a fucking underrated joke.
She was 18, right?
Yeah. What is it about fucking kids' cartoons that have a younger boy in love with a teenage or young adult girl that's sort of like a mentor-ish figure. Not maybe not that. Maybe that's too specific, but like in that case, Princess Bubblegum and Frankie Foster in Foster's Home.
Yep.
And this is one of the worst ones, but Dipper and oh god, what's her name? Wendy in Gravity Falls. Like that's I think Alex God, I'm forgetting everybody's names. But the creator of the show at one point was like, yeah, I kind of wish I hadn't done that sort of will they, won't they love thing with Dipper, and I was trying to move away from that going into season 2. But yeah, I think the way they handle it in season 2 makes way more sense because it's like you're a childhood crush, and as soon as he sees the age, there's a great episode where they go back in time,
and her younger self
flirts with him, and it's like, wow, this is the exact same age difference but in reverse. This feels weird. Why?
You see? And doesn't his sister go like, you see?
Yeah, like they do a lot better job of it in second season, but second season also has one of my least favorite episodes because it introduces this love triangle between Robbie, Wendy, and Dipper. I'm just like, that's weird. That first of all, that he'd compete with someone her own age for her affections, and also the teenage boy would feel just as threatened by this kid. That's weird. Anyway. If only I'd met a sophisticated young woman like you, sir! None of this would have happened. No, that's not logical. That makes no sense at all.
Oh dear, I'm sorry if my presence here upset you.
I can't stand being in the same room as women. I owe you an apology. That was really sexist of you, Professor. I didn't manage to deliver what I promised you I would in court this morning. No. No. The whole thing, the whole miserable affair. It all happened because I've been such a complete and utter clot.
Professor
Hairbrain.
What have you been working on yourself?
Oh, haha, you mean that? Oh, haha, dear, how embarrassing. I was suddenly struck by an idea, you see, and I simply had to write it down. The wall was all I had to hand. Oh, is it some new hypothesis? Something to dispass super high voltage instantaneous kinesis, maybe? No, I'm trying to find the exact value of pi. This is my autobiography.
Your autobiography?
It's written within the digits of pi somewhere. I just have to get to it. How I was diddled and fiddled. That's dirty. That's dirty. I found I could represent my odd fortunes with only odd numbers in an ambitious set of simultaneous equations.
Really?
Forgive me, but I think that delta is an even number.
Yeah.
I don't fucking know. I'm going to have to pay back all the loans I took for the kinesis machine, you see. And so it's going to be a new serial publication from next month. Part 1, an odd birth, an odd upbringing. Can't beat the man's optimism, that's for sure. Isn't that... This is... I'm so fascinated with how, like, stories were presented in older media, because even though books have been around forever, like... Was it... I'm thinking of either Poe or... Arthur Conan Doyle. Weren't those stories like written in like magazines or newspapers?
Arthur, yeah.
Arthur Conan Doyle, yeah.
Oh, wrote mostly.
I mean, I guess that's
Was...
heavily referenced in this game as well with Rance magazine, but it's fascinating.
Poe put his in magazines too, but that wasn't until his later works.
I am fascinated by the distribution of stories because it's not always as like. Especially the way that we grew up, we were books are so plentiful that you don't even think about what had to happen for stories to get distributed in the past. And now it's so easy to get a book published that you have more problems, you know, getting people to read it than actually getting it pen to paper.
Mm-hmm. And then actually getting it out there, yeah.
Yeah. So it's interesting to see how how these big names and stories initially started.
My biggest thing is how many of these stories were originally written by their wives. Like, as well.
That is a very honestly philosophical question at this point, and I think that we have no way to prove or disprove anybody in history. I am of the opinion that Shakespeare specifically, because this is probably the biggest example of that.
Oh yeah.
I think Anne Hathaway and Shakespeare, they both were right. They worked together because I think that those plays are. They're so polished that it feels like it's more than one person that made him. If I'm being completely honest,
if anything, I feel like they both wrote and edited each other.
Yeah, Anne Hathaway also. I can't remember exactly, but she was well known for being like involved, I guess, in the playwright sense. So I don't think. While I don't think that she had a hand in every one of Shakespeare's plays, I do think she had a hand in a good percentage of them. Mm-hmm. So, but yeah, that information is lost to time now, so we'll never know the answer to that.
Until we build a time machine.
Yeah, I'm glad that we have a world now where women can just express themselves freely. Somewhat. I mean, at least
kind of changing now.
It's big. It gets better. Progress is it comes in waves. It definitely worse with how things are right now, but yeah. I mean, fucking a year ago they overturned Roe v. Wade, and this year they Supreme Court fucking said that businesses are allowed to discriminate against gay people legally, and I'm just like, no. I'm glad that we made all that progress.
Well, there's still many bills being put to make.
It's just.
So many Let's continue. We're going on a spiral.
I know. I see. Well, for now, would you mind if we talked a little more about the case? Oh, yes, of course. I've been working through the numbers. I was diddled. I was fiddled by the pair of them. Someone from the next cell. Hey, can I get next? By Assman! Oh no! He was diddled and fiddled by Assman! This is so much worse than I thought it would be. And that aloof engineer, Trevor. Was that code for something? Shut up! I'm not gonna have to sit through an explanation of all those equations, are we? Why, yes, of course. Hold on, can you look at something real quick? Can you just, look at this real quick? Fascinating, yes. In Japan, where I come from, it's the symbol of a defense lawyer. Wearing it is very bracing, I find. Your words make some sense to me, but they are entirely illogical. What do you mean? I know it's still pretty big in Japan, but I kind of... You ever just have another reason to hate the Nazis? Like, they're you know, all the genocide and stuff, that's bad enough, but do you ever just, think of something that you can't enjoy anymore because the Nazis are like, damn it, why them too? Why that too? And it's... The example I always see is the mustache, the Hitler mustache, or the Charlie Chaplin mustache, because I saw a post where it's like, this mustache is actually kind of clean, it's kind of neat. I like it. It sure is a shame that it's become so widely associated with one of the worst people in history. And I'm just like, armbands are kind of the same thing, don't you think? I think they could be very fashionable. Unfortunately, if you see a person wearing an armband, it kind of means one thing, doesn't it? Doesn't it? Fuck! I hate that!
I think the only time it was ever acceptable in recent years for an armband was for when it was holding the little iPod for runners.
That's different though. That's it's. I'm talking about over the sleeve armbands because you definitely have like sweatbands. Like that's always been around, but also they usually be further down the arm.
They're right here at your wrist because that's where you usually sweat, especially with your hands, and then you have something to.
But I mean, like, yeah, I like the concept of armbands, and there's definitely been a few video games where characters wear them. Whether or not they be intentionally referencing Nazism or not, but I still think it's a unique fashion choice that I wish just was available, you know? Anyway.
Well, I mean, there's still some witch covenants that are taking back, especially the ones that.
You're talking about the symbology?
The symbology, especially like ISIS.
Yeah, that's kind of one of those things where you have to pick your battles because it's this idea of public perception. You can, but you're never going to be as popular as the thing that made the perception of it so negative. So it's going to be much like if you're starting from a neutral plane and trying to go up, it's so much harder than going from a negative perception going up because you have so much further to go. So yeah, it's while I understand that that's kind of why the Nazi symbols are the way they are is because they took these already established ideas and turned them in their own image. Yeah, it's fucked up. It's just how you do it, honestly. It's just they tried to do a genocide and it worked, and that's all that I can really say about that. Well, for example, I find this white laboratory coat that I wear to be for my work very bracing too. However, in my case, there's a perfectly logical reason for that feeling. Oh, really? What is it? I purchased the wrong size by mistake. This one is too small for me. The sleeves especially are extremely bracing. I can barely move my wrists. That's what you call logical, is it? Of course, it's entirely logical. That's science, Mr. Naruto. Alright, anyway. Everything I believed in has been turned on its head. My research, Mr. Assman, the kinesis machine, my hypothesis even. I'm sorry it's come to this. There was really no other way. No, it's not your fault. I wanted to protect my work, but in the end there was nothing worth protecting. Dots. It was never my intention to deceive anyone. I didn't want to trick the public.
No, of course you didn't.
But in court this morning, I realized something. Oh? If you've done something wrong without knowing it, you've still done something wrong! Logically, it makes no difference if you are aware of it or not. Ignorance is a poor excuse. The blame still lies with me.
Oh, Professor.
He believed in me this morning, you know. Barrack did. He believed in my hypothesis. Well, I think that was just a necessary factor in the prosecution establishing its case. No, Barrack wouldn't do something like that. I'm sure he genuinely believed it. Did he? I think I understand now. Why it was that he decided to take on the prosecution in my trial, I mean. Because he's a dick.
Because he hates us.
Oh my god. I don't want to talk about Mr. Hassman right now. Do you think he set out to trick me from the very start? I'm sorry to say, that does seem likely, yes. Dots. When I first met him, he introduced himself as a wealthy financier. He looked over the paper I'd written and said my work would benefit all humanity and must be pursued. He was so enthused. He was so empathetic. Wait, hold on. That's not how that's pronounced. Emphatic? Yeah, emphatic. But in reality, he was the mastermind of some vast criminal network, it seems. I still can't believe it.
As the machine was essential, a set doctrine for some stage.
Can you try that again?
As as the machine was essentially a set decoration for some stage magic. It probably didn't require a large amount of investment, actually.
But the scale of it wasn't just some trick. It was a very elaborate feat of... Did you see that?
Hmm?
Her fucking... She went to put her book away, and she's never at this angle, so it literally just... She had the book at her side and just disappeared. And I'm just like, that's crazy that that's the first time we've been able to see that from that angle. I mean, it's actually probably not intentional, but...
Well, because originally she has her kimono.
Oh, that could be it too.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, she's usually not facing this direction, so... All young scientists are full of hope about their burgeoning ideas, full of zeal. But none of us have any money. We want to do research, but we can't afford it. I miss the Renaissance times when we had rich people who would just buy live-in artists and scientists to do shit for them for their entertainment. And everything was really
a lot
good.
of it was also the church too, but.
I still think it's for the best because, like, we got to draw dicks on the ceiling and they thanked us for it. So, I mean, like...
What was worse is there's one...
I think that
there's one face on the ceiling that is of, like, the Pope of that time, and it's making fun of him. They only just recently found out.
Renaissance Italy probably is one of my favorite periods of history. Like, I feel like that's the closest we could get to a sort of utopia in the past. Like, if people talk about going to the past, it's like you have to really pick your battles because if you're a minority or a woman, you might not be able to do as much as you think you do. But Renaissance Italy, I think, is probably the best period of time to go to, at least if we're not considering recent history. Like, I'd love to go to, and again, the same problem is, like, you gotta pick your battles on if you're a minority or a woman, but, like, recent history, 80s, and that doesn't even feel like that long ago, is to be honest, but, yeah, no, there's no real good period. I'd say Renaissance Italy or Vikings, as long as I'm on the Viking side, because they were progressive at home. To their enemies, they were very violent.
Progressive in their stomach.
That doesn't make any sense, but yeah. No, I think,
and then through it.
I think the Vikings were pretty neat. Anyway, again, another tangent we've gotten stuck on. We really do need just a third person to just, like... when you, me, and Scott are together, we always pass this around, but I like getting caught on tangents, but then one person reeling us back in. Mm-hmm. We need a third person for that. None of us have any money. Many of us take on barely legal part-time work to try to earn just a few measly pennies to carry on. Rude. To go through all of that, only to be taken for a complete fool. It's too rotten to believe. It is. I agree. And that's why we have to find those responsible and bring them to justice. Oh, don't talk to me about being penniless. You are a lawyer. You work like one day every other month and you still have enough money to live and feed yourself comfortably. Fuck you.
I actually live rent-free in Mr. Holmes' house.
Fuck you. Mr. Assman is no more, of course, which leaves only the engineer. Mr.
Enoch Drebber.
Honestly, I wasn't going to correct that pronunciation because your guess is as good as mine. I think it's Enoch, but I could be wrong. Is he an engineer or a magician or a swindler? Yes. The magician's answer. It was about a year ago when Mr. Assman first brought Drebber to meet me at my laboratory. Since then, I've met him many times to discuss details about the kinesis machine. But at no point did you have any inkling that he was just an illusionist? Oh, he definitely wasn't. What was that noise just then? He definitely wasn't just an illusionist. No, that... never mind. What do you mean? He was a wealth of deep scientific knowledge. There's no question that the man's a genuine scientist. It's instantly apparent in conversation. I see.
But the wretched man deceived you, Professor. It's unforgivable. We must do everything we can to find him and bring him to justice. Are there no more clues you can give us about his whereabouts?
Thoughts? I'm sorry. We only ever discussed the kinesis machine, nothing else. Thoughts? Although, just once. I did visit his workshop. What workshop? Everybody's got a workshop, you see. Hold on. Okay.
Betcha.
Dreb was an enormous fabrication laboratory where he constructed my great machine.
Why didn't you tell us this earlier?
Dots? Why didn't you mention this before? In Dribber's workshop. There's every chance we might find the man there. Oh my god. Can you just tell us where to go? If a terrible accident happened, nobody would believe in my hypothesis anymore. Not the police, not the prosecution service, not even lawyers even. I feel like I'd done some kind of finishing blow there. So if any other prosecutor had taken the case, if it was anyone other than Barrack, I'm sure the prosecution would have declared my hypothesis complete and utter nonsense.
And in that case, you would have been declared a fraud yourself, Professor.
Exactly. I banged my head against the bars there for a second, and I hurt my temple. Ow.
It's
Which
okay,
would have been
covered by the fluff of his hair.
a fate worse than death. But Barrack insisted that I was a proper man of science from start to finish. You think that's why he... I know him very well indeed. He's an extremely kind-hearted soul.
When? That extremely kind-hearted soul spent all morning trying to paint you as a murderer, didn't he?
It was in service of my brilliant scientist mind, I think. Well, admittedly, that part of the analysis seems to have some flaws in it. What about the whole Reaper side of things? How does that fit in with the kind-hearted soul idea? I wanted just a flashback of Van Zieks before when he's at college with Hairbrain, and he's just like a completely different person. Like he's smiling, he's got a color in his cheeks, and he's just a nice person. And then like something happens, and he just.
It's fireworks.
Do you remember that one episode of Dexter's Lab where what happened? Like this clown gets painted by black and white, and there's just this transition as he just turns into a mime. That is probably one of the biggest things that has stuck with me ever since I was a kid. That whole episode.
Baby, can I tell you something?
Yeah?
I think I've only ever seen 5 episodes of Dexter's Laboratory.
I'm gonna find the clip and we'll see this later. Curse of the Were-Clone. Is that it? No, they had a different episode where Dexter was bitten by a clown. He turned into a clown. Fucking weird. Anyway, yeah, I'll save that clip for later. We can watch it. So you've been to Trevor's place of work then? Ow. Yes, just once. You understand. It was an enormous place. Plenty of room to construct the kinesis machine, you see. Where can we find it? Unfortunately, we forgot to factor in the size of the door, so we had to... After we were done building it, we had to unbuild it outside of the building. We have to go there at once. Then we had to rebuild it back outside of the building, so it's almost like the building itself... Oh, sorry, you asked me something? Thoughts? Well, yes, definitely. Ow! Sure, as in... I'm sure you're not going to want to hear this. But I have absolutely no idea where the workshop is at all. I'm sorry. I was more than half expecting that. You see, I was blindfolded in the carriage. Why?
That sounds kinky.
He blindfolded you? He wasn't taking any chances then. In all honesty, that should have been my first clue that something was amiss. Live and learn, as they say.
What do you want for dinner?
I don't care.
I only asked that because if you want me to go out and grab fast food, I should go soon before everything closes.
I don't want fast food. We should go to Aldi's and restock. And while we're out, maybe we can get food then. But yeah, we'll keep going for now. Even the oil he used was the very best. A special French machine oil that's impossible to obtain in Britain. Ah, the indescribable scent of that imported oil. Perfumers across the world should forget their secret formulae and use that instead. What do you think, Mr. Sato? Ode a machine for your next birthday?
I would never use any kind of perfume, Mr. Naruto, and I'm not sure I'd like to start with that. I don't suppose you know even part of the workshop's address, Professor? You don't have a business card for Mr. Denver, for example.
The man was clearly very cautious, Mr. Sato. I'm sure he would never have... Aha! Yes, I do! He gave me his business card once. It's right here, look.
Let me see that.
Throw it into the wind, why don't you? I know this is just so we have a piece of evidence, but, like, wouldn't it make way more sense for him to just not have blindfolded him and he could just tell us the address? Whatever.
And not Drebber Engineer. I'm afraid that's all it says. There's no address.
Oh well, I can't say I'm surprised.
What's wrong? Okay.
Yeah, we're talking through some stuff. This is a lot. I'm gonna read this later. That is a conversation I need to have when we're not recording. Still, this could be useful. Drebber's card has been embedded into the court record. Alright, well, let's see. It's got a cross and a minus. And a stain of some kind on the back. This dark smudge here. I think perhaps it's machine oil. Ah, yes, possibly. Professor Hairbrain mentioned something about the oil Mr. Drebber uses, didn't he? He said it was specially imported, very high-quality oil that's impossible to obtain in Britain. Yes, that's right, but more importantly, that it's more fragrant than the finest perfume, so excuse me a moment. Oh, it doesn't appear to have any scent at all. Don't worry, I expect that's just because there's such a tiny amount in here. So what do you think the plus and the minus mean?
Nintendo.
Nintendo.
Shit.
Did you spill?
Yes.
That's alright. It happens.